Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're all okay and you are enjoying your second week of distance learning. So today we are going to do something exciting with our guided reading. We are going to read a book online through Oxford Owl, and we're going to remind ourselves of our reading strategies, and then at the end we're going to do something very fun and play a Kahoot quiz. But first, let's just remind ourselves of our reading strategies we like to use. The first one is our eagle eye. Our eagle eye is we look at a word in the book, we take the letter of that word, the first letter of the word, and we look for pictures in the book to help us read the word. Then we like to use our stretchy snake. Stretchy snake is when we look at the letters in the word, stretch the sounds out slowly, go back and say the sounds all together. So for example, if I want to say ship, I would sound it out like sh-I-P, ship. Let's have a go at some stretchy snakes ourselves. So let's try the word muttered. M-U-T-E-R-D. Muttered. You have a go for me? Lovely. Well done. Good job. Let's try it all together one more time. Muttered. M-U-T-E-R-D. Lovely. Good job. Let's try one more. Fleas. F-L-E-S. Fleas. Have a go for me? Lovely. Good job. Well done. So today, children, the book that we are going to be looking at is Brer Rabbit's Trickbag. Let's go and have a read. Girls, this is the book that we are reading on Oxford Owl. I made a video the other day that has been posted on Class Dojo to show your parents how that they can access Oxford Owl and how they can access these books. So that video is on Class Dojo, so make sure your parents have watched. Let's have a read. Chapter 1. Brer Rabbit's Trickbag. Some people call him Brother Rabbit. Some people shorten the name to Brer Rabbit. But whatever you call him, you can be sure that he is the cleverest animal in the world. And Brer Rabbit is not only clever, he is clever in a tricky kind of way. He is not only clever in a tricky kind of way, he is funny in a clever, tricky kind of way, which is why he is forever pestering the other animals, playing jokes and making mischief. Brer Rabbit's neighbour Brer Fox knows all about those jokes. In fact, he was one who opened Brer Rabbit's Trickbag. It all started one day when Brer Fox was walking down the big road. As he strolled along, he happened to spot Brer Terrapin. That made Brer Fox give a chuckle down in his red belly. He went. Then he slipped into the shadows with his small eyes fixed on Brer Terrapin's leathery little head. Brer Terrapin waddled slowly up the road, humming quietly to himself. As he came past, Brer Fox pounced and flipped him into a sack. Then he slung the sack across his back and headed home. Brer Terrapin yelled out and struggled about, but Brer Fox didn't pay any attention. "I'm going to boil him up," he said. "Nothing tastes as good as a hot pot of terrapin stew." But if you had looked very carefully into the bushes up the road, you would have seen two long brown ears. Below those ears you would have seen a pair of eyes as dark and soft as velvet. It was Brer Rabbit. He was lying beside the road, kicking at the butterflies and nibbling at the grass stalks. As Brer Fox came past, his ears pricked up, and he looked out through the leaves. "Now I wonder what that old rascal's got in that sack," Brer Rabbit asked himself. and he decided that there would be no harm in going to find out, so off he went. He took a short cut along the ditch, over the turnip field, and through the bramble patch. That way he got to Brer Fox's house first. Before long, Brer Fox came home, and as soon as he opened the door, Brer Rabbit poked his head through the window. He pretended to be in awful panic. "Brer Fox! Brer Fox!" he called. "What?" asked Brer Fox, giving a jump. "Your watermelon patch!" gasped Brer Rabbit. "Somebody's up there trampling on everything. I tried to stop them, but they wouldn't listen. Hurry up if you want to catch them." "What? Not my juicy watermelons!" cried Brer Fox. "Thanks for telling me, Brer Rabbit." He dropped his sacks in the corner and scurried off to his watermelon patch as fast as his skinny legs could carry him. Brer Rabbit's beady eyes looked right, then left. Then he hopped in through the window as quietly as a cat. Once inside, he picked up the sack. "Ouch!" squeaked a voice from inside. "Let me out! Let me go! Ow! Ouch!" Brer Rabbit jumped back in surprise. Then he said, "There's only one animal around here who squeaks as loud as that. It's Brer Tarrypin." With that he reached in and pulled his old friend out the sack. "Brer Rabbit," squeaked Brer Tarrypin, "help me! Brer Fox is going to boil me into a hot pot of terrapin soup." "Okie dokie," said Brer Rabbit, wondering what to do. Then he gave a little smile. He had an idea. He carried Brer Tarrypin up into the woods where he would be safe and sound. Next he hunted around in the trees until he found what he was looking for. Then he went back to Brer Fox's house with a sack. He was very careful with that sack. There was something in it, just the same size as Brer Tarrypin, but it wasn't Brer Tarrypin. Brer Rabbit laid it gently on the corner of Brer Fox's room. Then he skipped and hopped back up to the woods and sat down beside Brer Tarrypin. It was only a minute or two before Brer Fox was back, panting and grumbling. He hadn't found anyone in his watermelon patch. "That Brer Rabbit," he muttered. "One more trick and I'm going to skin him alive." He pushed open the door and he smiled. His bag was just where he had left it. "Well, that's all right," he nodded, reaching for his cooking pot. "Now, where was I?" He picked up his bag. Moments later there was a crash, as if a cooking pot had been thrown at the ceiling. This was followed by a banging and a whooping that was so loud the chimney wobbled on the rooftop. It sounded as though a herd of cows was running through the place. Brer Rabbit and Brer Tarrypin could hear chairs being thrown around and plates being smashed. Then the door flew open. Out came Brer Fox with his ears flat on his head and a swarm of wasps after him. "You put wasps' nests in a sack?" squeaked Brer Tarrypin. "I suppose I must have done," said Brer Rabbit with a giggle. Brer Fox ran yelping down the path towards the pond. When he got to the water he splashed in head first. That made Brer Rabbit shake with laughter so much that Brer Tarrypin couldn't help joining in. "Don't, Brer Rabbit, don't!" squeaked Brer Tarrypin, clutching his stomach. Brer Rabbit tried to control himself, but then Brer Fox came sneezing and sloshing up the pond with a twirl of duckweed tangled around his ear, and that made the two friends burst out laughing again. They rolled around, shaking their heads and kicking up the leaves. "Right!" spluttered Brer Fox, swishing his soggy tail from side to side. "That skinny little floppy-eared pinhead Brer Rabbit has had it." Chapter 2. Poor Brer Fox is dead." Brer Fox was so angry with Brer Rabbit that he hardly knew which way to turn. "I've got to find a way to catch him," he muttered. "Then he'll see I'll have his skin for sausages." And the thought of it made him give a chuckle down in his red belly. Hee hee hee. Then who should he see coming past his house but his friend Brer Wolf. "How are you, Brer Wolf?" he cried through the window. "I'm fine," said Brer Wolf, smiling with his big teeth. Brer Wolf stopped for a chat, and Brer Fox told him all about Brer Rabbit's trick with the wasp's nest. "It's time we caught that Brer Rabbit," said Brer Wolf, "and I've got a clever idea. We'll get him into your house, then we can grab him." "But how are we going to get him in my house?" asked Brer Fox. "We are going to fool him," said Brer Wolf. "And who's going to do the fooling?" "Leave the fooling to me," said Brer Wolf. "All you need to do is go and get into bed and pretend to be dead." "What's Brer Wolf up to?" Brer Fox wondered. "Something clever, I'll bet, because he's just about the cleverest animal around here." Then Brer Fox lay down and pretended to be dead. Meanwhile, Brer Wolf was already knocking on Brer Rabbit's door. Bam! 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 Brer Rabbit peeped out and saw that it was Brer Wolf. He blinked his dark eyes. "Open the door, Brer Rabbit," said Brer Wolf. "I don't have time," Brer Rabbit replied. "It's important," said Brer Wolf. "What I'm doing is important too." "This is a matter of life and death," said Brer Wolf. Well, Brer Rabbit didn't have much choice. "Okie dokie," he said. "I'll open the door a crack, but don't come anywhere near me. I've just come down with a terrible attack of fleas." With that, the door creaked open a crack, and Brer Wolf's grey eyes peered inside. "I've got some awfully sad news, Brer Rabbit," he said, putting his hands on his heart. "Poor Brer Fox is dead. He's lying on the bed up his house as dead as a doo-doo." Brer Rabbit looked at Brer Wolf's serious face and asked him, "Now, is he tricking me or not?" Brer Rabbit couldn't help feeling curious, so he told Brer Wolf he was sorry to hear the news, and he decided to go up the road to Brer Fox's place just to see what was what. When he got up there, everything was quiet. He pushed open the door just a little, then looked inside. Sure enough, there was Brer Fox stretched out on the bed with his eyes shut. So Brer Rabbit walked in. "Well, I'll be blessed," said Brer Rabbit in his saddest voice. "Poor Brer Fox is dead. At least, he looks as if he's dead. Maybe he isn't, because I've heard that whenever a visitor comes to see a dead body, the dead body lifts up its hind legs and shouts, 'Wahoo!'" There's a moment of silence, then Brer Fox lifted up his hind legs and shouted, "Wahoo!" Brer Rabbit shook his head as if he felt sorry for Brer Fox for being such a fool. Then he called out, "So long, neighbor," and he shot out of the house, leaving Brer Fox with his skinny legs sticking up in the air.